everybody. My name is Joseph with the MTG Thoughtcast, and I'm here with two of my best buddies. We have Jared Bobier. Jared, how you doing, buddy?
So good. Stoked to be here.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
And then we have our resident oracle, who today is going to be our seer. We have John Kendall.
Who wants to look into the future with me?
Oh, I'm ready to look into the future. John, how you doing today?
Hi there. We're great. Things are well. We're pumped.
Nice. Love it. Well, today we have a bit of a special one where our friend John has put together a nice presentation for us. In the last week or so, we've had, or at least since recording, we had was it GenCon, John?
Yes. Yeah.
GenCon that brought us the roadmap for where Magic is headed in the next 2 to 3 years. So we're going to break that down because I personally couldn't find it anywhere in one cohesive place. So you heard it here first, folks. This is what's happening.
What did you say, John? I was saying looking for like information on this was insane.
Impossible.
I was like, why? Like, there's Wizards of the Coast, to my knowledge, doesn't even have like a written version of this anywhere,
right?
Which is wild to me.
Not really.
I don't. So, I was like looking for that everywhere.
But you know where else you can find this information? At our Discord.
Great plug, John. Great plug. Yes, You can join our Discord where we are hanging out almost every day. In the description. That's where you can find the link to our Discord, is in the description of this video. Come and hang out with us.
Yeah.
And then while you're in the description, just go ahead and hit subscribe while you're there, because we're funny guys and you're missing out on not getting this content if you're not subscribed to it.
Yeah, that's lame.
I'm going to guilt people and gaslight them into subscribing.
Yes.
That's incorrect. Don't do that.
MTG Thoughtcast, we gaslight you until you...
Yeah, that's what the G in MTG Thoughtcast stands for, is Magic the Gaslighting. Okay, we should probably just move on with the episode. John, take it away.
Help.
Oh, boy. So I guess to start with, you both saw the same like presentation video as well, right? So like nothing as part of what was broadcast is going to come as a surprise, right?
No.
Unless my memory fails me.
Maybe memory fails. Okay, yeah, maybe.
Perhaps what is this?
Maybe I've got something here that you missed. Well, so as you had mentioned, Joseph, GenCon was the presentation stream where they went even way further beyond than they have ever done before for the last couple of years now, usually about in the fall time or getting close to the fall time. They tend to give this sort of like announcement forward, nothing with like too like in-depth specifics. We get like names, quarter releases, some promo art, and like what the theme of that set is going to be. So for the last couple of years, we've been expected in like the fall time to have that sort of like timeline available to us. It's like, oh, hey, here's what to look forward to for the next upcoming year. With this Gen Con being the like celebration of the 30th anniversary of the game, they decided to just like treat everybody with extra large presentation, right? Like the same amount of like given promo material is still there. Like we only really know like in specifics up until the end of 2024, but they told us about basically the product lineup we can expect through about the middle of 2026.
That's insane. That's such a long amount of time.
Yeah. The context of that is like stuff at the beginning of 2026 is like right now currently in like R&D development, right? So like them presenting it to us now was probably maybe no less than a few weeks ago of them sat down at a table and decided, hey, this is what we're doing. Yeah. Which is crazy, right? Like I've always known, people have always known about like, Magic stuff is developed like 2, 3, sometimes 4 years in advance. But having that behind the scenes a little bit, be like, hey, this right now, that thing, we're working on that thing right now is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And knowing what sort of themes are going to be standard for the next several years is both like inspiring, and like the hype is up and down. Like we've got lots of new worlds to talk about, lots of returning stuff, some big news for Arena, and tons of Universes Beyond if you're into that kind of thing.
Love it.
Let's get started. The first thing brought up is just an overall recap of how the rest of this year is going to be.
Yeah.
So for the remainder of this season up until the holiday, we still got Wilds of Eldraine starting previews very soon. Lost Caverns of Ixalan is also still going to be in the fall, and somewhere in between that, I believe October is the
Doctor Who.
Yep, is the Doctor Who Commander decks. We didn't really learn anything else new, particularly about these sets when it was previewed, only just like from some of the conventions the week prior, we learned about the whole Enchanted Tales bonus set that the Wilds of Eldraine is going to have. We talked about that Greater Oromancy reprint, but it's going to have a whole bonus slot just like Brothers War and Strixhaven of fancy frame enchantments.
Good.
They showcase
us that limited format. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, like
enchantments is so hard to deal with. If you get like a mythic enchantment, you probably just win the game
right.
Unless they put some really, really good enchantment removal in that set at like common.
Yeah, they probably should, right?
Because this is what happened with Brothers War with the artifacts. Is like pre-release of that one, I got Wormcoil Engine and did not lose a game. So yeah. I'm prepared for Wilds of Eldraine to do exactly the same with enchantments.
The difference,
the
difference of that whole bonus slot for Brothers War was all colorless. Like some of these enchantments, like we've shown both ends of the spectrum. They've shown like Doubling Season at 5 and then Necropotence with triple black, So like, I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going to be as busted as they say it is. Like you could try to build around it, but like how good is Doubling Season in draft really? Exactly.
But
you know what I mean? I could imagine like Greater Oromancy being stupid. Rhystic Study is probably also extremely busted, but so we learned a little bit about that. The only other new thing that we learned about for these sets in specific, other than their release date, is that Lost Caverns of Ixalan is going to have booster insert Universes Beyond from Jurassic World.
I love dinosaurs so much. I can't wait. Honestly, this little slide here of just Doctor Who, Wilds of Eldraine, Lost Caverns of Ixalan with dinosaurs is enough to make me happy that I'm still playing this game in 2023.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? So the relation with this one is this sort of Universes Beyond thing with the Jurassic World stuff. Booster insert is what they called it. This is what they did with Transformers in Brothers War. So it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same kind of thing. So set boosters and collect boosters can have stylized and mechanically unique Jurassic World themed cards in them, just like what they did with Transformers.
I like that.
That seems fun. Yeah, they said the booster inserts are going to be there for this, and then Jurassic World itself is also going to have 2 secret layers around that time as well.
Oh, nice.
I think it's really cool how, like, I actually didn't like Ixalan the first time it came around, but now that
know what? Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. Ixalan was kind of boring.
Crazy.
But I think it's cool now. I think it broke my immersion a little bit the first time. Like, dinosaurs and like this magical universe. But the more I've like
the jokes, the jokes when it was first being announced, like when the set first came out the first time, this is Jurassic Park Conquistadors, that was the joke. And now with this Universe Beyond thing, and now it's just come full circle. Yeah, lean into it. It is just Jurassic Park.
I like playing D&D, and like this is because Magic is like built off of D&D, like that. That is what this game spun off from, essentially. Like when you dig into it, there's like sections of the certain continents in D&D that like have dragons. Dinosaurs too. It's like very it is integrated into that world in the world building. So I think having that experience with D&D has helped me to like gravitate towards dinosaurs and not break my immersion of the game. which is sick. I love it, and I think it's
so
cool how
much
this Beyond
love
set
that.
is going to seamlessly go in there too.
So as for paper releases for the end of 2023 as well, they also made mention that to bring up about some point there in the holiday season before the end of the year, but I think after Lost Caverns is that second holiday re-release for Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
It's going to have I don't know if we still don't know a whole lot about it. It's some kind of curation of the original set, plus new cards, plus new booster treatments, which you can see on the slide that I have for it.
That looks
Sauron.
so sick.
Yeah,
dude, that looks like a Grateful Dead poster. It's so cool.
I'm not crazy about the casting cost being in a circle, but the art is phenomenal. But that's the kind of booster treatment that's going to be in pack for this re-release.
Oh, it's so sick.
It does look really cool. I hate the way this looks as far as a Magic card because it just is very hard to read it.
Guys, I don't always have to have the unpopular opinion, okay? You guys can't leave me in the dust like this every time.
Sorry, dude.
I'm not denying it looks cool, but it also, like Jared said, it just doesn't look like a good Magic card, you know?
Completely get it.
It's like when Chase plays Alila and it's like the heavy metal treatment or whatever it is. I like can't read that card. It just doesn't register. It never. I'm just like, I just am never going to know exactly what Alila does because I'm never going to read this card and
Or like when
understand
John
it.
plays the textless Thalia in the Gate Real. I would take this treatment over textless cards any day.
That is true.
At least it's on there somewhere.
I'll take
Right.
it.
The amount of times on Spell Table people have said I'm just making shit up when I describe how it works.
Yeah, that comes in tapped. I swear.
Does it?
All right, moving on.
So the Lord of the Rings holiday re-release brings us to the end of 2023, leading us into the first booster product of 2024, Ravnica Remastered.
I'm stoked about this.
Yeah?
I'm stoked, which I know is probably an unpopular opinion.
Mm-hmm. So,
Jared, what's your thoughts first before I gush about it?
Okay, I like Ravnica a lot. It's one of the sets that, like, on my return to actually getting back into Magic again, it's the first set I really played. It's the Return to Ravnica set.
Yeah.
So I love it. I mean, it's so iconic for this game that we refer to color combinations by the guild factions that Ravnica created. So I think it's cool.
That kind of mindset is why I don't like Ravnica.
Gotcha.
It's like
I think it's become too iconic, right? It's like if your set is the bar of where two color combos should be, where can you surpass it? You know?
Interesting.
Yeah, like it's that brand recognition thing. You know how, like, you know, everyone calls Kleenex.
Yep.
You know, Ravnica is the Kleenex of Magic.
Hey,
interesting.
I like that.
It's a spicy
You know what I mean?
It would be
take.
nice to get remastered because in theory, we should be getting another Cyclonic Rift, which is a good.
Correct.
good
Actually,
reprint.
yeah, I wanted to bring that up. So this was mentioned out specifically that this set is going to be a curated collection of Ravnica cards from all three of its original visitation sets, plus any supplementary product that has
Also, they're
Ravnica featured on it.
including War of the Spark in this.
They weren't clear on that. They just said, like, the 3 visits, right? And yes, like, War of the Spark technically takes place on Ravnica, but War of the Spark is what was described as a backdrop set. War of the Spark was kind of its own event thing happening. That Ravnica was the backdrop. We're about to talk about that later when we get to Murders of Karlov Manor, but
Gotcha.
War of the Spark was a backdrop set. They made mention, as you showed, if you check on the next slide there, they made mention that, like, specifically Shocklands are going to be part of this, and
I'm stoked
a
for
lot of
that.
things are going to be in retro frame. But I went through.
Why am I such a sucker for retro frames? They just keep feeding them to me, and I just keep eating it. It looks so good.
I put together this little list of the things that we should expect from this reprint set. I went through all the Ravnicas. The Shocks are obviously here. Some collection of the guild leaders that are available, you know, like Aurelia's and Grand Arbiters. The all the the guild leader things, the legendary creatures, the cards that people love
Jared,
to play.
don't smile when he said Grand Arbiter.
I didn't smile.
Okay.
I was like,
Will you cool
God.
it?
Uh,
I'm not gonna play Grand Arbiter anymore.
I love Grand Arbiter.
Doubling Season, originally from original Ravnica, Cloudstone Curio, Cyclonic Rift, Vandal Blast, Utvara Hellkite, Assassin's Trophy, Guardian Project, Smothering Tithe, Protean Hulk, Lord of the Void, and all of the guild charms.
Yeah.
And signets.
If I get to play Dredge in draft, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Oh yeah, I wrote Dredge here as well. Yeah, Dredge of Life from the Loam and Golgari Grave Troll, stuff like that.
Oh, forgot about that.
God, I love Life in the Loam so much.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff we should hopefully be looking forward to in a set like this.
Sick.
Nice.
We stick with the Ravnica theme though for the first standard set of 2024. Murders at Karlov Manor. This was described.
So cool.
Yeah, this is described as another one of those top-down backdrop sets, as I had described earlier. They take a theme that they want to do and just place it on a world. So in this case, yes, it's Ravnica, but it's not the sort of play the 10 guilds Ravnica. This is a Ravnica setting murder mystery set.
Nice.
I am so excited for this. This is one of the things that I'm most excited for.
Wow.
It looks very fun. Yeah, this is the first standard set of 2024. Premier set is how they describe them when talking about stuff like this. But yeah, some kind of mystery has unfolded, I guess specifically at Karlov Manor, referring specifically to Teysa Karlov of the Orzhov clan.
Real quick, on the art for this, what is that thing that's far left next to Aurelia?
That would probably be a Viashino of the Izzet clan.
Okay. It looks like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors.
I don't know what that means.
Pull up a photo of it, John. Everyone else will get it. We'll all have a good laugh and we can move on from there.
Yeah, I guess this guy in the blue is, apparently super important. You look at the next slide as well.
You like the investigator?
Yeah, I love the magical yellow tape that's being used for the crime scene.
That's insane.
That's so silly. But
do you have the clue thing on here, John, as well?
Yes, that's the next slide. Actually, I was just about to mention. that alongside Murders at Karlov Manor comes some kind of supplementary release of some kind that says it's Clue Edition. It's Ravnica Clue Edition. What
does that even mean?
So what they described it as an incorporation of multiplayer Magic with the iconic sleuthing of Clue set on Ravnica as a multiplayer game variant, not a reskin of Clue the board game.
Oh, so it'll be like Plane Chase, but with Clue instead?
It's going to be something.
All right, I'm excited about that now.
Yeah, multiplayer Magic.
Would you say it's a mystery?
Jared, I'm going to kick you off of this podcast right now. That was ridiculous, dude.
We need to investigate this.
Yeah, it seems like you need to get a clue about it.
Right. Moving on.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, some new multiplayer version of Magic. That seems really, really fun.
Another one for me to just not care about, probably.
Right. Yeah, they've done variants like these before. If any of you guys might remember, Explorers of Ixalan was kind of like this tile flipping board game version of multiplayer Magic.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, you built Ixalan, the island, a little island out of it. You used tiles that did game effects as you played multiplayer Magic. So who knows? We don't really know what it's going to be like, but
I think it's cool that they want to innovate stuff like that. It's just challenging when it's if you're already targeting a multiplayer format, those formats don't need extra things that make the game take even longer than it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Without that's why as an idea, I think Plane Chase is really sick. It's really cool to be okay, you're planeswalkers, you're planeswalking through the universe as you play this game. But in reality, it's just, this is one extra game action everyone is taking per turn. And it just takes everything. It makes everything take longer. And it typically becomes unfun because it's just one more thing everyone is keeping track of. At least that's my experience with Plane Chase.
Oh, I think that's a lot of people's experience, which hopefully they're taking into account for this, and they'll make it a proactive game variant as compared to a reactive or oh, look how cool this thing is kind of thing.
I hope that's like, I hope they take the approach of like, this needs to be adding fun to the game.
Yeah.
If it ever becomes like a slog and becomes boring even slightly, it's like you shouldn't be adding this. Like it just needs to add more energy and fun. Right. Otherwise, it's an annoying thing that people aren't going to want to do. Anyway, that's my tangent on why Plane Chase isn't that fun and why I hope this isn't the same.
Nice.
Honestly, I'm just kind of here for these Planeswalker designs or like these character designs. These are such cool incorporations of like the color coded suspects of Clue into like a Magic thing. Is like, man, that purple coat looks incredible.
Oh, dude. What's Jamie Lee Curtis doing over there?
All right. So after our Ravnica visit, we receive another 4 set of Universe Beyond Commander decks from the Fallout franchise, of which I know nothing. I've never played a Fallout.
I don't either. Jared?
I played Fallout for 10 minutes. At a friend's house because he was like, this game is awesome. You need to try it. Because I like BioShock, and apparently as far as gameplay, BioShock and Fallout are pretty similar. Yeah, I didn't really... That said, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
anything.
I know
none of us do.
I know it's one of those games that people really, really like. You know, it's from the Elder Scrolls people. So it's like, oh, like, what if Elder Scrolls, but, you know, desert wasteland, you know?
Some people would call them Bethesda.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, it is like post-apocalyptic dystopian universe trying to find a way to survive and rebuild your life. I think the narrative lore of the Fallout series is really sick.
Yeah, I'm sure that there will be some good zombie love in this.
Oh yeah,
kind of a zombie game, isn't it?
That's what the mutant monsters are, I think, right? They're like sort of like undead zombie warriors.
I would imagine that they will be typed as zombies.
I think it's perfect for Commander product because there's going to be just like iconic characters that I'm excited to see the mechanics because like Fallout is like for all intents and purposes, it's futuristic for what Magic is typically including.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I guess they had guns in the Warhammer 40k sets. So it's not like this is a new thing for them. They just like choose to put it in the art and then have nothing that is mechanically guns in the cards. So
I feel that's my personal preference is I feel like for this, they will need to actually make mechanics that match.
Right.
Like shooting a gun.
Well, and like vaults and like maybe they'll do dungeons again, but like enter the vault rather than enter the dungeon.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's. I'm like, if excited is a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 6 on this.
Cool.
Because it's not a franchise I necessarily care about that much, but I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm somewhere around a 3, I would say.
Right. Cool. I'm kind of with Joseph as well, right? As someone who knows nothing about it, like I know what it is, but I don't know anything about it otherwise. But happy for everyone who's excited about that kind of thing.
All players are eating good tonight.
All players are eating good. Yeah.
Moving on
to probably what is going to be the most hype set, at least one of the most hype sets of 2023.
This one is so sick.
This is going to be incredible. The Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
They finally did the Wild West plane.
Wild West World.
So now they have no excuse to actually build gun mechanics into the game.
Yeah. Well, I think it is not a coincidence that the Fallout set and then Outlaws is coming out in the same time frame. Like, I'm sure it'll be a mechanic that is shared between them because it's like, oh, I just got the Fallout, commander deck. This new set has some good similar mechanics that would I think these will probably upgrade the Fallout decks.
Is that likely some synergy?
Synergy. So, Outlaws of Thunder Junction is described as the villains of the multiverse crossing their realms into a outlaw territorial gang fight in the fantasy Western location and iconic themes of that genre.
Oh wow!
So this is a big villains set, is what they describe this as specifically. The story of Magic up to this point has allowed non-planeswalkers to be able to now go to different places, you know? So, and that's going to apparently be the big story over this next several years of gameplay, is that characters and presumably like stuff, like things can go from one world to another. Mm-hmm. And this set is a whole bunch of the bad guys from across the multiverse of some of your favorite sets have all convened at one location as basically the hideout.
Wow.
You can actually, if you look at the next slide past this, you got probably one of the most iconic images for this set.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, the walk into the sunset theme. Like, who else gets Red Dead Redemption off of this?
Me. Is that right? So that's definitely Vraska.
As one of the characters, correct. Yes, one of the snaky hair one is Vraska.
Gorgons in the Wild West is not something that I knew I needed in my life, but it makes so much sense with all the snakes.
The one next to her probably is Tiny Bones.
Oh, I was like, who is that?
Dear God, let it be Tiny Bones.
I was like, is this when we find out Squee is actually a villain? Like, what?
He's not a villain. He is a dubious monarch.
Far right is Rakdos, like the actual demon Rakdos.
Yeah.
You can see the head thing. The dude in the background, do you know who that is?
Is it Oko?
It is Oko.
I pulled that out of my... I'm going to be honest.
Yep. That is Wild
crazy.
West
He's
Oko.
just hot enough to be Oko.
Yep. I cannot express in words how excited I am for this, right?
It's amazing.
Wild West theme is incredible. I've just all your stupid favorite friends, but now they're cowboys.
Yes. I love it.
Do y'all have any guesses on who the three people in the middle are?
It's so hard because it's like bad guy with cape.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, but apart from like the villains being here, like the actual like theme setting could be super interesting as well, right? Like this could be the place they bring back deserts into standard.
They definitely will.
Yeah, deserts could be in standard.
If deserts are not in this set, they need to get fired. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that would be a really weird choice.
Yeah, I could also imagine like a variety of new types of like vehicles being part of this set as well. You know, like steam engines and
motorcycles,
battle wagons, things like that. Think like
I'm
Mad
calling
Max.
They're bringing like, horsemanship back.
Horsemanship?
Bring back horsemanship. They're doing it.
The cowboy mechanic being horsemanship. That'd be fantastic. I like that a lot.
Wow. I'd be so here for that.
But yeah, so this is the standard set that I am most excited for. This comes in about the middle of the year. This is going to be like the early summer release.
Well, we're about to talk about the set that I'm most excited about next.
Oh, you are? You want to lead into it? Go ahead. Talk about Modern Horizons 3.
Modern Horizons 3, baby. It's the last... I mean, how long have they been doing Modern Horizons sets now? For probably 5 or 6 years?
The first one was just before the pandemic, yes.
Right, so it was like 2019. Every single Modern Horizons set has been like the best selling set. It's had the best cards for Commander, the best cards for Modern. Like, I love that they started to do, we're not going to care about keeping it standard power level. We're going to boost the power of it. Because, John, you remember Hogak Winter from the first one, from the first Modern Horizons? Yeah.
Combo.
Give me more of that. Give me more of that. So then, Modern Horizons 2 had the Evoke cycle, which if you've been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, you know that I love Evoke. It's one of my favorite mechanics. So having the free Evoke creatures from the second one was unbelievable. Every time that I look back through the Modern Horizons sets, I find something new that's exciting to me. Like, they designed these so well. And Lord of the Rings is a Modern Horizons set. and has been unbelievable. Like that was this year's straight to modern set. The joke is like if you're a modern player, the whole point of it was that it doesn't rotate. But now with the straight to modern sets, it's like, okay, well, Modern Horizons 3 is our yearly modern rotation. Like we're going to see what happens. Because when the first one came out, it was like you could not play certain archetypes anymore because they were just so outclassed by some of the stuff that they were printing. And even now, like with Lord of the Rings, like Delver is just not a deck in Modern anymore. You cannot play Delver anymore because it straight up loses to N Orcish Bowmasters.
That's
like
hilarious.
One of them. So I'm excited. I love these kinds of shakeups because I don't play super competitively. Like just getting a whole set of brand new stuff to bust wide open that they've upped the power. It's a higher power level set that I'm excited about. So that's my soapbox about Modern Horizons.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm sure for you specifically learning about as well that firstly, this set, its core feature thing is going to be double-sided cards. They didn't necessarily say transform, but they just said that its main focus theme of this outing is double face cards.
Interesting.
So things that do two sides. You will also be excited to know that the full set is coming to Arena.
Yes, because they're basically importing Modern to Arena, and I'm so excited about that.
No, they are not importing Modern. They actually made that a point specifically when they mentioned that. They said the full release of Modern Horizons 3 will be available on Arena, but this does not give us an indication that we intend to flesh out Modern for this digital client.
No, but Historic is basically Modern. Like, as somebody who plays a lot of Historic and has played a lot of Modern, like, Historic is something like 93 cards away from actually being Modern. Plus, you get the alchemy stuff. So with Modern Horizons 3 and them importing the cons set over, which I don't know if we're talking about that or not.
We are. Yes, we'll get to that.
Got it. So that'll bring fetch lands, and they have not said that they're going to preemptively ban the fetch lands. So we'll have fetch lands, we'll have shock lands, we'll have triomes, we'll have Modern Horizons 3, we'll have everything from cons. It's basically going to be Modern at this point.
Well, they claim that that's not their focus, but that could change 3 years down the line.
Marketing.
You know
They're just gaslighting us.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's it. That's interesting. Yeah, like I said, a full new Modern Horizons release coming to Arena specifically. Related to sets being injected straight to Modern, Universes Beyond Assassin's Creed.
I feel like you two are more excited about this than me, so I'm going to set this one out.
Oh, yes. Jared, what's your Assassin's Creed history, apparently?
I've played a couple of the games. I didn't play like video games growing up, but I got into it as an adult, and I wanted some more like immersive RPG style games. And Assassin's Creed was one of the ones available on the Switch, and I played that heavily through the pandemic. The Black Flag specifically. I don't know. I know some people don't like that one because of the sailing mechanics.
John is some people.
I tried it, okay? Like, for what it's worth, that could have been just because I tried Black Flag on the Wii U.
Oh, interesting.
Which was not a great console.
No, it wasn't a great console, but it wasn't for me. So I have a different history with Assassin's Creed. I basically pretty much grew up on it, right? Like, a lot of my childhood gaming, Joseph and I both, a lot of our childhood gaming, you know, we had Wii, we had a 360, we had a PlayStation for a little while. My growing up thing is like, I played a ton of Assassin's Creed 2. I played Assassin's Creed 3. I've done Brotherhood recently, actually, as well.
So you're pretty stoked about this.
I am. I'm very excited about this. Again, pretty much, unfortunately, like pretty much past Black Flag is where I have not played anymore. So I know nothing of like Origins or Syndicate or Valhalla or
the Odyssey one.
Odyssey. Yeah. None of those kind of things. So I haven't played any of those just because for like they're you know, next gen console stuff is like they're pricey and like you kind of get the same experience with Assassin's Creed over and over again.
Yeah. It's pretty formulaic.
I think that's why I liked Black Flag, because it helps you break the formula. Like it gives you something else.
True.
And adds a lot of exploration to the game that isn't there in the same way as the other.
Right.
But
Yes.
anyway, this is not a Assassin's Creed podcast.
Yeah, for me, iconic Assassin's Creed is 1 to 3 and the stuff in between. 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelation, that kind of stuff.
Well, the good news is they've always shown Ezio on the art, right?
Ezio is the one on the left there. The I guess no, you're right. I guess
they're both Ezio.
They're both Ezio, yeah.
Which those were the best ones.
But they said that the set is going to cover the whole. So, all right. So let me talk about the set specifically here. So Assassin's Creed is coming available in a new type of booster called a Beyond booster. No further explanation what that means. This could be anything from like the size of epilogue boosters as Aftermath, that it could also be regular like set booster size. So like, here was they said specifically. Well, Yeah.
Going back to the Doctor Who stuff that's coming out, there are boosters that are coming out alongside
collector boosters.
Right. So do you think that this would be similar, where it's like we have a commander deck or two, and then the cards there plus a few extra are available in some boosters? Or do you think it's going to be more like Lord of the Rings?
I want it to be in between, but my gut is telling me this is going to be epilogue boosters.
Fair, which I have gone on record saying that I like. So,
but not if they're $13.
No, certainly not.
Well, IP crossover.
Right. But also at the same time, like, I don't care about the comments. I don't want to have a pile of comments sitting around. Like, the difference between a $10 booster that has 14 cards in it and a $10 booster that has only the uncommons and rares from it is just no different to me.
Okay. Well, we don't know specifically what these boosters are going to be, but apparently this is a new type of booster that is specifically we're like, hey, this is the booster you can buy to acquire cards that are within this IP crossover world. They are the new purchasable booster type, non-draftable. This is not a draft format of any kind.
So definitely leaning epilogue.
The set is going to feature new card designs plus reprints that are skinned with Universes Beyond style, and it's injected straight into Modern.
I like it.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. I will be picking up an Ezio, making a deck, and I'll be happy with that.
Just out of curiosity, where are we at on the timeline right now? Like what time of next year is this coming out?
Assassin's Creed should be the end of summer, because we're about to go into the last two standard sets of 2023, which should be about beginning of Q3 and then end of Q3. So
cool.
We're about to move on to Bloomburrow right now. That should be the set that comes out this time next year.
Gotcha.
So Bloomburrow.
That looks
here
crazy.
We are. So Bloomburrow is described as an animal world with roaming warriors, mages, and monsters, and a charming animal aura.
Okay, so non-human.
Non-human. They made that specifically clear.
In their words, anthropomorphic animals. What?
Yeah,
Is this just Lorwyn?
Lorwyn has like non-animal beings. Yeah, this is all animals. Yeah, they made sure to describe it as all the animals are anthropomorphic and they can like speak and they have abilities and things like that, but everything is still sized correctly. So we're not going to see, it's not going to be like giant rabbits or tiny, like tiny bears, stuff like that. Like whatever the animal is, it's going to be appropriately sized.
Gotcha.
If you look at the next slide as well, I've got some of the other art that's there as well. So like very, like
no more squirrels, please.
Oh
please,
no, this is
Mr. Rosewater. No more squirrels.
Look at that thing though. Dark Warlock squirrel.
Dude. Oh, I can't with the squirrels anymore.
I saw a theory that this world could be where Chatterfang is from. We might see Chatterfang again.
Ooh, good call.
Dude,
this could also be the home of Preston as well, Preston the Vanisher. And pretty much anything else from like the other Commander sets, that they've been like iconic or standout legendary anthropomorphic animals, this could be where they're from.
Nice.
I think it's cool. I really do.
Me too.
I'm not like an animal person per se. Like I like animals, but I don't have any myself.
I think this is going to be a great set that is probably going to flush out a lot of like animal synergy types for anybody who's caring to build a kind of deck that's like.
Well, I bet we get like cats and dogs. So like Ren and Siri players are going to eat. Obviously,
cats, dogs, squirrels, rabbits, insects, wolves, bears,
snakes,
goats. Yep.
I'm just excited to see.
A lot of. They've started doing a lot of keyword like grouping for new stuff in the same way that they did like your party in D&D, where it was like clerics, rogues, warriors, wizards. I'm sure we'll see like cats and dogs as a thing. Like, and in the past where they've done like the swarm yard stuff where it's like insects. So you'll have like,
draw a card for each creature in your menagerie.
Yeah. Each different animal in your like thing.
Yeah. We making Noah's Ark, boys.
Yes.
Who likes tonal whiplash?
Me.
Yeah. All right. You've had your cute animal friends. Bam. Eldritch Horror.
Yes. I'm gonna believe that so much.
This is sick. I love horror. I think.
Yeah.
I love this kind of stuff. That's why I'm excited for the Clue set. I know it's not horror, like necessarily horror, but I expect some like elements. Anyway, back to Duskmourn.
Duskmourn, House of Horror, is a top-down modern horror design based around Eldritch Lovecraft and 70s and 80s haunted mansions.
Yes, please.
The world itself is actually the haunted house. They described this specifically. The whole plane takes place inside the largest haunted house you've ever seen.
It's so cool.
So it's like going to be a lot. Like, I'm sure there'll be stuff that's like outdoorsy, naturesy trees and stuff like that. But generally speaking, the whole thing takes place inside a Lovecraftian horror house.
Dude, I love that so much.
Yeah. I love how they
huge HP Lovecraft fan. Like, this art gets me so geeked about like some guy who's investigating something and then it turns south and then all of a sudden the walls are now like coming after him.
Yeah, as a huge fan of Betrayal at House in the Hill, and I've also been recently been playing Mansions of Madness as well. It's very, very similar thing.
Yeah.
Like tons of spooky eldritch horror adventures. Like this kind of thing vibes with me.
Yes.
Drastic.
Well, and like 70s haunted house is like super like Scooby-Doo. Like it's gonna be so campy and so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is cool. I want them to do more stuff like this.
Same.
This is going to be sick.
Yeah, this whole thing that they've been doing of like, we're going to give you a scenario and there's going to be a cool backdrop for it rather than like, oh no, the plane or the entire multiverse is in danger and there's a big spiral in the sky and then the big bad guy's coming and is going to destroy everything, but the heroes win in the last minute. Like, I'm so bored of that. Give me haunted houses. That's what I want. Give me murder mystery party.
Yeah.
Well, strap in. That main story is going to be like really starting to unfold as we get later into talking about like the stuff from like mid 2025 forward.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. But anyways, so Duskmourn brings us to the end of 2024. That's the biggest information gap that we have. If we move on to the next, before we move into 2025, I wanted to cover all the stuff that they discussed as far as Arena that is going to be happening by the end of 2024 is where all of this information comes from for anyone who loves and enjoys and plays that kind of thing. I know that's you, Joseph.
I play Arena basically every day.
All right, so I'm sure you'll love this. Wilds of Eldraine is being launched with an improved duplications protection.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, they didn't specify specifically how that works, but they made point that like, hey, with Wilds of Eldraine, you no longer have to expect your 13th copy of Duress.
Yes.
So I don't know what it means specifically, but they said it's launching with Wilds of Eldraine. Protected dupes protection.
That probably matters more for people who buy boosters as compared to people like me who draft, because like you can't really adjust the draft experience based on what's on your collection.
Sure,
but
it is still nice.
Finally, like dust cards to turn them into like other ones. That would be unbelievable.
Yeah, again, they didn't describe specifically, but it's coming.
Love it.
They said they are looking into an achievement system.
Ooh.
so outside of your daily quests, like a mainstay, like achievements thing that gives you long-term rewards and stretch goals to work towards playing the game.
Into that.
I'm really stoked for it because they specifically were saying how they wanted to reward players for more than just winning games or playing games.
Right.
They want to reward
doing specific things,
specific play style. Yeah. Accomplishing specific things in game. I think that's really cool. I think that will like prevent the kind of, because like I play a lot of historic brawl on Arena and not much else. And
yeah. Oh, and you just get no benefit for that except for your daily quests, like cast this many of this colored spells.
Right. And I think there's a toxic kind of trait in historic brawl that you encounter a lot where people will literally just, like, if they see you have a certain commander, they'll just immediately scoop, which is annoying. And then they'll like do this toxic thing where if they're losing, they'll just let their timers run out and not really play, but they'll make you sit there through their every single timer that they have. It's really annoying. And I think like with the rewarding certain positive behavior in game, I think it will come with like the downside of like intrinsically people who play in a toxic way are not going to get the benefit of those rewards. So I don't know if punishments will come for things like that. But.
It'd be interesting to see how hard they make some of those achievements. Because like I'm imagining some very like beginner stretch ones is like, 7-0 a draft or, play a draft. Right? Like achievements for rewarding people for trying things they normally wouldn't do. But I'm also curious to see like how hard they push it. Like earn Mythic 3 seasons in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited for this overall. I think it's great. I think Arena needs a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Which speaking of, Cons of Tarkir.
Oh, you want to talk about that now? All right. I'm going to have that on the next slide there. Yeah, just an image grab for Cons.
One of the best sets that they've ever made.
Yeah, full booster set of Cons of Tarkir launching before the end of this year, they said. So this is a set
coming soon.
That comes out before the end of this year. Yes.
I'm going to draft the ever-loving hell out of this set.
I wrote down here specifically, as you had mentioned several times, yes, the fetch lands will be added into Arena. Cons is also specifically going to be bringing your delve cards like Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise.
Yes. Also, common tri-lands is going to be non-rare tri-lands is going to be huge for deck building for like historic brawl and stuff like that, where you're not going to have to waste a rare slot on a triome when you could just have Frontier Bivouac.
Yeah,
that's so sick.
I wrote that here as well. Yeah, Siege Rhino will be on Arena as well. Siege Rhino. The legendary con leaders as well. So you get like Sidisi and Surak and Narset. You do Narset historic brawl. Who wants to make that happen?
Yes, there's already enough extra turn spells that it's easy.
The Ascendancies, remember those? Jeskai Ascendancy combo coming back to Arena, boys.
Jared met Jeskai Ascendancy the other day.
Oh yeah, he did.
Wait, when? Remind me.
When we were playing, I was playing my Omnath deck.
Oh, jeez. What is that?
Oh, God. The Ascendancies are 3-colored enchantments that just have unbelievable upside.
Yeah. Oh, what does the Jeskai one do again?
It gives all your creatures prowess and untaps them every time you cast a non-creature.
That's so dumb.
You also draw a discard off of every non-creature.
Gosh, that's
the biggest. It's one of the most powerful. Like it's very combo thing. When it was available in standard, people were playing 4-color combo decks with it, splashing into green.
Because you just play mana dorks and cantrips, and then they all get huge.
Yep, you tap your mana dorks, cast a non-creature spell. All your mana dorks are untap. You float a bunch of mana, draw a card, discard a card, do it again, do it again, do it again. Wow,
that's awesome.
It was very sick. That's exciting. I'm very excited for that as well. Again, as somebody who doesn't play Arena, but I'm excited for everybody to be able to get a chance to play Cons of Tarkir. They really crushed into my feelings, though. They made sure that they mentioned about when they said that Konstantar Kier, they said, we're pleased to announce Konstantar Kier coming to Arena, the first originally printed in 2014.
Oh. Are we getting old?
Yes, we are. Yes. But speaking of set releases to Arena, they made mention specifically that from earlier this year, the Shadows over Innistrad remastered set is going to be one of the last remasters on Arena, quote, until further notice.
I like that.
So Arena is not getting Ravnica remastered. And as we'll learn about actually in just a few minutes, it's not receiving Innistrad remastered either.
Cool. Totally
So,
fine with that.
I don't know what that means for it, but no more Arena, no more remaster sets.
They're just not really worth it on Arena, to be honest. I think that they just probably didn't sell well. Like it's probably not worth their time to port all of those old cards over when like half of them aren't going to get used anyway. Like, no one's excited about it if you're playing Arena.
Well,
like,
that leads into their tournament Pioneer that they have slated by the end of 2024. Quoting here, introducing into the Arena environment the most relevant tournament cards available introducing them into the client by means of other sets, anthologies, or the soon to be announced Pioneer Masters coming in 2024. They slated this, I guess, the 2-ish years ago when Explorer was a format, right? Yeah. When did they make Explorer? They said that Explorer one day will be killed to have it be called Pioneer. Their slate for that is holiday 2024.
Nice.
Sick.
So supposedly over the course of these next 2 years, everything you need for tournament play Pioneer will be on Arena.
Sweet. Any more Arena news?
Other than just like they broad stroked a new streamlined ecosystem between digital and paper that they're experimenting with.
Oh,
so some kind of like cross play compatibility of like when you go to your shop and do something in paper, it earns you something in Arena and like vice versa.
They should have been doing this for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
The way that when you buy a pack of Pokemon cards, you can put in the code online and you get that pack online.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so dumb that they haven't had anything like that.
Yeah. So they touched on that. They said it's something that they're discussing for the next couple of years to figure out what to do. But yes, like streamlined integration between paper and digital.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That covers it as far as Arena is concerned.
That's the kind of love Arena needs to become
for real,
actually fun.
So next down there is their 2025-2026 roadmap guidelines. The caveat they said for this is that any and all information that was shared or discussed is still under development, so most all of it could change at any time. But something, at least so far, that they said is pretty set in stone is Innistrad Remastered being the first set of 2025.
Love that.
So similar
there's
vein.
Not too much to talk about 2025, 2026, other than we got a few little teasers about it.
Yeah, well, I have that here. I'll get to that.
Yes,
But yeah,
it's hard to talk about like, first we have the set that they're keywording tennis right now to throw us off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyways, so Innistrad Remastered. Yeah, same sort of vibe as Ravnica Remastered, right? It's going to be the greatest hits of all of the Innistrad sets,
You mean they're not going to introduce another different werewolf mechanic that's different than all the other ones?
No, bro, I swear this time it's going to be right.
This time they transform and can't come back. But no, so Innistrad Remastered is sick. They said that next one there, tennis is described as a Omen Path Death Race set.
Okay, this sounds sick as hell. I want to play this.
Yeah, a three world spanning death race, consisting of characters and themes of just like basically like a big stretch of like Mad Max. Is the best way to describe
it's Mad Max on Rainbow Road.
Right,
is exactly what it is.
They made made mention specifically that of the 3 worlds that this is taking part of, 2 of them are returning sets, and 1 is a world that has been mentioned on cards, but we've never been to.
I think it's Vryn. I would guess Vryn, which is where Jace is from.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's kind of, I'm terrible at keeping up with the lore of the game, but that's kind of wild that we've
Vryn
never
has
been
a ton
to
of rings that are already basically racetracks on it.
That seems very silly. Yeah.
Yeah. You just race through the rings of Vryn. Like they have to do that.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm also, from the vibe of the art that they have as examples, I'm getting some like cyberpunk genre
that
vibes.
Concept art. Yeah. I didn't include that here just because it was concept art, and that kind of stuff is subject to change. But yeah, exactly. they showed this like concept art of like very like, you know, Mad Maxy. I actually got like Grease Monkey vibes off of like the spirit coming out of the car is like
nice.
And I know they did a little bit of that with like Neon Dynasty and stuff. And
which was amazing.
Yeah.
Kamigawa would be a sick backdrop for one of those as well, right?
Yes.
Kamigawa, Kaladesh, Vryn.
Dude. Yes.
Stop.
Sick.
That sounds awesome.
Anyways, Tarkir.
Are we going back to Tarkir?
Yeah, that's what Ultimate is.
Oh.
Yeah, the standard set after the Death Race one is the Return to Tarkir, quoted as both best of both timelines in its design.
Weird. Okay.
So I'm not sure what that's all about. So basically, if you like the cons will be there. But if you like the Dragon World, it's also going to be Dragon World.
Got it.
So that seems interesting, I guess, right? Tarkir is very loved. Again, as we had just talked about, right? Tarkir has not been visited since 2015.
Yes.
So this is going to be sick. Universes Beyond Final Fantasy is after that. Either of you know anything about Final Fantasy? Because I don't.
Nope. I didn't play the games growing up.
It'll probably be a cool background for a set, though. There's so much.
I played Cloud on Smash Bros. So.
You do?
Hey.
Yeah. And I played Cactar on Super Mario Basketball 3 vs 3 on the Nintendo DS.
So we're experts.
Actually.
Yeah.
No, I think it'll be cool. There's so much cool character design in those games. So yeah.
Yeah. So notes with the Final Fantasy release is that this is a set like what they did with Lord of the Rings. It is a full booster set.
Very cool.
Commander decks are going to be likely as if they have the same thing, right? It's going to be a booster set and commander decks, and it is coming to Arena.
Nice.
So super cool there. Volleyball is the Outer Space World set.
Very interested to see how they do this outside of Infinity.
Yeah, I was just discussing this with my wife, actually. As a matter of fact, this would be an interesting setting that My wife. This could be the Blind Eternities.
I've seen that being discussed. Mark Rosewater has gone on record so many times and said we just can't do a Blind Eternities set because it's not like it's space in between the planes. It's like there is literally nothing that only Eldrazi can exist in between. I would like for it to be a plane similar to how they're like, well, a plane can just be a haunted house. Like, ooh, spooky. I would like for it to be where the plane is a few planets that are connected with space. So it's like this plane consists of, for example, like Lorwyn and Shadowmoor and like this thing where there's a few different kind of settings that are all the same plane that are just connected with space that they can travel between.
Sure, right. So they've done that with Dominaria. Dominaria is huge. There are tons of little sub planes that are on Dominaria.
They're like poking into like the Spelljammer aspects of D&D, which is like that
makes sense.
Space, like setting how to play space in D&D essentially. And so I think Spelljammer, their latest iteration with that has not been that well received. There are a lot of like half-baked ideas in that run of stuff for D&D. And so hopefully they do a better job here. I feel like they probably will. But yeah. It could be really cool. It could also be super immersion breaking and lame. So
if that set ends up not being cool, Lorwyn is the set after that. The wrestling one written there is Return to Lorwyn.
They're getting me.
The first time back properly into that set since it originally came out in 2007. Which, granted, remember, for context, this is fall 2025.
Right.
Oof. So goodness. Lorwyn has not been loved since then, but finally going back to it, right? They said they're going to incorporate all of the themes that they introduced across those sets of like the very like kinship bond of tribes that are part of it. The whole Shadowmoor
racist elves,
the Shadowmoor Eventide thing that they had going. That's going to be a part of it as well. Like Lorwyn introduced so much stuff into the game that has become iconic, right? Tribal, hybrid mana, flipping things, right? They introduced double face cards back into Lorwyn again to introduce the idea of like Lorwyn Shadowmoor, you know?
Oh, interesting. We'll probably see Daybound and Nightbound again.
I like that. I hadn't thought about that, to be honest. But yeah, so Return to Lorwyn brings us to the end of 2025. Opening up into 2026 with a return to Arcavios, which is the setting of Strixhaven.
Oh, Chase is going to lose his mind.
Yeah. No other information past that point. Again, we're into the time frame where this is stuff that is still in development, so things could change. But yeah, Arcavios, Strixhaven, first time back to that.
Love
you
it.
know,
it's going to be like Arcavios, but the rival school.
And then that last one.
To see that.
That'd be really fun.
Build a new school.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be super sick.
Build a new school, and then this is where we get our Harry Potter crossover.
It becomes the Triwizard Tournament. And then Harry Potter of
surely we'll
Universes Beyond.
Harry Potter for the Arcavios.
Let's be real, that's what Strixhaven is. It's Harry Potter in Magic.
It's just Hogwarts.
Yep. It's fun. It's super fun, but that's what it is.
Well, that's exciting. There's a lot of good stuff coming.
Yeah. Just to tease you about it, though, Joseph, since you said you're not crazy about those kind of things. Ziplining, the last one there, that's the big story event set. Ziplining caps the story that they are telling over this next 3 years. It's a backdrop set like War of the Spark and March of the Machine, ending the 3-year storyline that they'll be telling.
That's crazy that there's a storyline that they're telling through all of this, because none of it looks cohesive.
No.
Right. So the biggest backdrop behind all of this is like the consequences of the Phyrexian War and these omen paths that are allowing non-planeswalkers to travel between worlds.
Got it.
So what that actually means, it's still too early to tell. Like literally, like as we record, the story for Wilds of Eldraine is coming out. So we don't really know where it's going quite yet. Which, again, all of this is kind of subject to change on how far out it goes and where they change the story. But that's where it's at. Like, so 2026 is going to be where they cap off this new story that they're telling.
Very cool.
So what are we thinking about all this? Final thoughts?
Joseph?
Oh, I was going to say, I'm at like a 7 or an 8 excited about the whole next few years. Like, this all looks interesting at the least. Like, there's nothing in here that I'm like, probably not for me, except for some of the Universes Beyond stuff. Like, I don't know if I really care about the Fallout stuff. I don't know if I really care about like the Assassin's Creed that much. But other than that, like the designs look really good. Mm-hmm. There's at least like 2 or 3 of the sets each year that I'm very excited about. Like, so that's keeping me excited. Like between like Outlaws, Modern Horizons, Duskmourn, Return to Cons, all of that is like, okay, I have stuff that is exciting on the horizons for me for the next 3 years. Playing this game. So I'm stoked about it.
And that's of course why they do stuff like this. It's to build hype and expectations. Like, ooh, stick with the game another year and we'll give you Lorwyn. Magic players, Lorwyn.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like similar to Joseph, like there's plenty of stuff for everyone in the next 3 years, and there's some things I'm really stoked about. Some things I could care less about, and there's just enough for everyone. I'm excited they're digging into the horror genre. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I just hope that one of the Eldrazi shows up there with no context and no explanation.
Yes.
Right.
Like and then we just leave it. Yeah. Or even like Emrakul again. Like would be thrilled about Emrakul again as like a foreshadowing of like, okay, you thought that trapping her in the moon would be the way to stop an Eldrazi horror.
I read this crazy like theory conspiracy on Reddit about that, where like they have this dumb idea that like Emrakul put herself in the moon to time travel.
What?
Supposedly, I don't know. The old lore made it abundantly clear that silver is the key to time travel, and the moon of Innistrad is made of silver. Moon silver. Yeah, I don't know. It was just some wild conspiracy theory that I saw that like, oh, Emrakul's gonna go back to the past to like a time loop kind of thing, right? Where, like, because Emrakul defeated in the future, she goes back in time and causes the first invasion of Zendikar, which traps them and then leads to battle for Zendikar, and she gets trapped again. It's like she's causing her own time paradox, you know?
That's insane.
I don't know. It was a nutcase conspiracy.
I like
it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I feel like I heard them briefly mention something about adding, like, they were thinking about ways to make Arena more fun for more people. And I think they briefly mentioned maybe working in a multiplayer format.
There was
I might have misunderstood, but no, I feel like that's what they said.
There was a conversation there about where the direction needs to go to incorporate some capacity of online multiplayer. If that leads into an update on Arena or the creation of an all new client.
I can't do another client.
They don't need to. They have MTGO Online. They have Arena. They need to make MTGO Online actually usable.
Yeah. You don't they need to just Microsoft Excel simulator?
God, it's the worst, dude. It's the most convoluted. Like, just getting cards in there is
it's
the most convoluted
to look
system
at as well.
It's so stupid. I'm like, this is 2023. This should not be this difficult. Like, every time I have
been like meaningfully updated since like 2005.
Every time I have tried to like use it, I get in there and like try to start going through the process of building a deck I want to play. And by the time I am like done trying to figure out how to get the cards I need, I don't want to play anymore.
No.
Like,
yeah, because you just had to like hack into the Pentagon to like find some bot that will sell you enough tickets and like
I'm like, this is like the most archaic system. Anyway, that to say, they could easily make all you have to do is make Arena, but with 2 more players. Like, just at what? What's so hard about that? I don't know. Yeah,
server space or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, the next couple of years look very fun. I'm very interested to see, especially like as a big like lore junkie as well. Like, I'm very interested to see where the story goes, what kind of new characters and designs we get to see. And this outline as well, by the way, is not covering everything, right? We've learned this that.
Yeah, I was like, this looks like a shockingly small amount of product for them.
Yeah, stuff just gets announced. Like, everybody actually kind of forgot about it because we all got caught up on the price of it. But everybody just kind of forgot that Commander Masters was kind of just like, surprise, we're dropping this.
It was just dropped in there.
You know?
I know that there's obviously more things that will probably come out that are not included in this talk here, but I mean, if they do decide to like limit the amount of stuff they release, I would be totally down for that. Because
the issue with that is it means that everything's going to be more expensive.
Hey man, if it's a better product overall and not just more stuff, I'd be down for that.
Hot take, and I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's easier to keep up with and it's more fun overall. Anyway.
Bring us home, Joseph.
Sending us off. Thanks everybody for listening. Are you excited about the next few years? Let us know. Join our Discord. All the things. We love you. Catch you later.